is In the Know for Monday, January 24, the 24th day of 2022. There are 341 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 103.9 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country, and look back on an amazing weekend in sports. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Overall, yeah, good.
Did you have anything good to eat this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Anything you want to share about?
Well, you want me to tell it?
Sure, go ahead. Tell it.
Listen, my husband made the best. Is it hibachi?
Yeah, it's hibachi.
Oh, my goodness.
Better than the restaurant?
Pretty close. Yeah.
Homemade yum sauce and everything?
Oh, yeah. The yum. So good.
I was really surprised how well everything turned out. I was kind of doing a little test drive to see if I could figure that all out. It's sometimes hard to pull off and do it like restaurant style. So over there is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Moscow, Paris, and even Hodgenville. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good.
All right, so let's just get this out of the way. Are you going to be impossible to live with this week?
I mean, in a lot of ways. I mean, yes, it's a great day to be a Bengal fan.
I know that you're happy, and I don't blame you for being happy. But and I may be approximating, but it seemed like you tweeted about 5 times in about 60 minutes the other night after the game, and I thought, if this is an indication of what Sam's going to be like to deal with next week.
I'm not sorry whatsoever.
I didn't say you had to be sorry.
See, here's the best part about that is that there's a button called mute. You can mute me.
Oh, I would never mute you, Sam. I don't want to mute you.
I think it's all good content too.
I just noticed that there was the rapidity in which you were tweeting on Saturday evening. I thought, this may be a glimpse. I mean, unless he gets it out of his system and then he comes back to earth on Monday as the angst over the AFC Championship starts to build, then Sam just may be hard to live with.
See, listen, I mean, my tweets were accurate. All I said is the Cincinnati Bengals are 1 win away from the Super Bowl. One win away. You get no argument on validity. You're about to be making yourself some Cincinnati chili coming up real soon.
Whether it's factual or any of that stuff. It's so, but yeah, it was. I can't wait to talk about the weekend in football because it was quite remarkable. So we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Noon. Which when you start the morning in the 20s and then you get to almost 50 degrees in the afternoon and then you end back in the 20s overnight, hard to do that without a weather system moving through that will cause some wind gusts, maybe up to 30 miles an hour. But we're going to see mainly cloudy today, which is pretty much what you got this morning, and we'll see a 20% chance of snow regionally. Don't no milk and bread or anything like that. This is just, you may see some flurries. Tonight, we'll see colder and a low of 26. Then tomorrow, clearing late tomorrow, a high only at the freezing mark, and then the bottom falls out again tomorrow night. We'll be down to 12, 14 degrees, something like that as our low temperature for tomorrow evening, which will feel even cooler because of the wind chill. Then back below the freezing point on Wednesday. We'll get back to 40 on Thursday. They keep kind of messing around. They were saying that precipitation was coming Wednesday. Now they've moved it to Thursday. And I think we're not going to see much precipitation, at least until early next week.
I'm liking what we're seeing early next week, though.
Early next week.
Groundhog Day.
I mean, right now, if they could lock that in,
Oh,
Groundhog
dear.
Day would be in the mid-50s, but that
How
may
about
be...
we flip that 6 and the 5 around and make it 65?
I'd be all right with that, but that's not my department. Not in charge of that. Nation watching today about the Ukraine. The State Department yesterday ordered families of all American personnel at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine to leave the country amid heightened fears of a Russian invasion. So there's been saber rattling for weeks with Russian troops amassing at the Ukraine border, and then the U.S. NATO, led by the United States, also saying, if you do this, here's what we're going to do. And if you don't pay attention to the geopolitical landscape, you may wonder, what in the world do we care about Ukraine? And why does Russia want to invade Ukraine so badly? And in simple terms, it's this. Ukraine wants to join NATO, which means the Ukraine wants to become more like other portions of Europe, and Ukraine wants to be more like the United States. Ukraine wants to have more freedom, more liberty, and they are the next door neighbors of Russia. And so what Putin is doing is he's playing a generational game. He says that if NATO can come to our doorstep, then a generation from here, it's going to be hard to keep Russia under our thumb like we've had it for so long, that if you've got so much liberty just literally across the border, you're going to see some Russians who get wise and go, so I could just move right over there and I could have a completely different existence and livelihood? And Ukraine says, yes, you could. And they say, well, I mean, that's not too far from home, so I'll just go over there. And then they, the oligarchs and all those people that rule Russia, then they've lost their power. So that's why they are determined not to allow it to happen. So what happens there? I do not know. Closer to home, one of the big headlines today is that Kentucky's largest public school district is resuming in-person classes today after moving to remote learning for 8 days during a rise in COVID-19 among teachers and staff. The Jefferson County Public School System announced yesterday they would be back in session today in person. They were running low on even the extension of days that the state government gave them to do NTI, but they do say because of there are now enough staff members, substitute teachers, bus drivers, and other staff available to safely reopen school buildings. The reason I mention is because oftentimes JCPS is a little bit of a barometer. They're dealing on bigger issues, maybe what the more rural communities and schools are dealing with on a smaller scale. So often it gives you a glimpse into what our local school systems may be encountering or dealing with downstream of that. Here locally, it's the 100th day of schools in Grayson County, so big celebration today. We have a kindergartner who is celebrating her 100th day at Clarkson Elementary School, and had a customized T-shirt, or customized
I saw a picture this morning.
Shirt, right? And buttons, and
you were jealous of that shirt, weren't you?
Eyeballs, puffy paint.
I'm jealous of the shirt.
Good times.
I was jealous enough that when I dropped her off at school, I almost asked her if she wanted to trade before she got out of the truck. I thought, well, you can wear my shirt today and I'll wear your shirt. But I didn't do that because they had worked so hard on it. But I don't, by the way, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. I don't know if it actually is the 100th day of school or it's the scheduled 100th day of school. It's like President's Day. We celebrate President's Day, but it's never really, Washington's birthday or anything like that.
They count it.
But they've been planning it for a while. That if they lost a day,
right.
That's my thing. Is it the planned 100th day or is it actually the 100th day?
I think it's the actual.
Okay, people who like specifics and details like me kind of like to know that type of thing. So. Does it matter? It absolutely matters not. It matters not one iota. It's just, you know how I am. I need to know. A manhunt is underway after a Bullitt County man whose trailer was being stolen was shot and killed by thieves over the weekend. The Bullitt County Sheriff's Office says Saturday morning about 3:15, police were alerted to an enclosed trailer theft in progress on Woodsdale Road. That's 10 miles outside of Shepherdsville. Deputy spotted a white 1999 Dodge Ram truck with a stolen trailer that had crashed head-on into a tree on Cedar Grove Road. The victim of the theft, Kevin Watts, age 42, had pursued the suspects and struck the trailer when the suspects crashed into the tree. They've then fled on scene, apparently on foot. The deputy discovered that Watts had been shot, and police said the assailants were believed to be two males and who are likely suffering from injuries consistent with a head-on collision. But he lost his life in that. It's very unfortunate. I don't know how many trail towns or if we have a lot of those. I don't know how many we have that are close to us. But the city of Livermore, that's in Sam's favorite McLean County.
I have nothing against my friends in McLean County.
That's why I said it's your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you
we'll
love
there,
them.
We'll be there in a couple of weeks.
A city in western Kentucky has become certified. Oh, it's the 25th trail
I thought I'd
town
read those
in the state.
20s.
Livermore received its certification from the Kentucky Department of Tourism. And I said, well, what's a trail town? Well, the Tourism and Economic Development Program provides a strategic plan for communities which commit to sharing outdoor opportunities, culture, history, and stories with visitors looking for adventure. Livermore offers paddling on both the Rough and Green Rivers and cycling on 3 new routes for bicyclists. So anyway, if you're looking to get out and see more of the Commonwealth's beauty, Livermore is an area you can do that in addition to the beauty we have.
From where we would come, we go through Livermore, but we don't get quite to Calhoun. That's correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I thought.
I historically called it going to Calhoun because
but you don't
that's
get
the thing people...
You don't get quite to there, right?
No, and I think, truth be told, I'm not sure I've ever been to Calhoun.
You're in like a suburb of Calhoun, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like Harnett. Breckenridge County High School is in Harnett, not Hardensburg.
Yeah, okay.
And so McLean County High School is
But you can throw a rock at Hardensburg.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. But now that you mention it, I'm not sure that I've ever been further down that road than McLean County High School.
Mm-hmm. I've only been to McLean County High School once. So,
all right. Saturday started with a big showdown in college basketball as the number 12 Kentucky Wildcats went on the road down on the plains of Auburn to face the number 2 ranked Auburn Tigers. I presume they will later today be the number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers. 80-71 was the victory. Cats played. Ty Washington only played 8 minutes before he got injured with an ankle injury. Severe Wheeler went out at an inopportune time. Came back. He went out. They were up by 1. Came back. They were down 7 or 8, and just couldn't ever get over the hump. But I like a rematch between those teams with both of them being fully healthy.
Yeah, it was. It was an entertaining. I mean, the first. Because I don't think they had like a whistle in the first 6 minutes of the game, and that was just really entertaining basketball because it was back and forth, and it was also really entertaining because Kentucky was winning 17-7 or something.
I glanced and it was like 14 minutes to go in the first half. It was like they've played the entire time without a stoppage in play.
Yeah, and it's amazing that, and I'm not saying that officials were a reason in that game, but it's just amazing on how enjoyable it is if they just play. Yeah.
Sam, what's going on at WKU?
Yeah, they. I don't know. There's something. What's the line for Macbeth? What is something's in Denmark?
Something's rotten.
Yeah, something's rotten into Denmark.
Something's rotten. It is just weird to see big turmoil. I don't know that we call it turmoil at WKU yet, but there's something going on there that there's something that doesn't meet the eye that's causing him to have major struggles.
It was very interesting to me that I saw on Twitter that now I think the WKU fan base is kind of starting to turn a little bit against Stansbury.
Yeah.
And I saw one fan say, we need to replace Rick with another one. And I said, can you imagine?
No.
Patino to Bowling Green.
Well, that would be Patino's way of finally getting back to Louisville. He just follows the Petrino route. He just goes to Western and then backs his way back into Louisville.
Well, then
because
I was going to say
the Louisville fans would love to have him back today. They don't care what he's done. They'd love to have him versus what they've got. Did you see Malik Williams in the press conference after the U of L game on Saturday?
Not necessarily a sounding endorsement.
It's not a ringing endorsement of Coach Mack and his staff. Malik Williams, who is a co-captain for the Cards, he was asked by Tim Sullivan or somebody in the Louisville media, said, asked, are teammates still responding to the coaching staff, or have they tuned them out? And he waited for 30 seconds. I mean, it is 30 long seconds where he just sits there and he thinks, and then he says, I don't have a comment for that.
Because I saw when the tweet came out, somebody said that's what he had said, and I said, oh, okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But no, the pause is what I mean. He didn't even need to answer.
He knew he didn't have a comment about 29 seconds earlier, but he waited the full 30. He was choosing. You know, in Hamilton they say not gonna waste my shot, and he was trying to think, am I not gonna waste my shot here? So, but then later on in the day, after the UK game, the Bengals and Titans, the Bengals went to Nashville, and I thought it was a tremendous game.
It was.
You'll hear me say that 4 times. In fact,
Shooter McPherson though at the gun.
Has he earned the name Money?
Well, they've now changed it to Shooter.
They've changed it to Shooter.
Shooter
not
McPherson
Money anymore.
Money Mac. Yeah, they're still trying to go through the names because he's a young guy, but it was a great game, and I mean it was. If you were a fan of football, all 4 games were fantastic, but. It's good to see the Cincinnati Bengals now in the AFC Championship.
Where were you, Sam? Where were
Sitting
you
on my couch?
I wondered if you were at home.
Were
you alone?
Yes.
Did your neighbors ever knock on the door?
It was a wonder. But I mean, I say that I was on my couch, but I probably transitioned from my couch to my knees to standing up and pacing. But it was I pretty much created a walking trail in my living room.
2 weeks in a row, though, that the Bengals defense comes up with a major game-changing interception. I mean, last week it was a game-sealing interception that ended the game, but this gave them, they have 20 seconds left. They intercepted. Tannehill threw an interception with 20 seconds left, setting the Bengals up for a 46-yard field goal to end it.
See, and as I said last week, I said in a lot of these playoff games, it's not always the case, but especially in closing seconds, the team with a better quarterback wins. And Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill.
Well, that certainly makes its case into the final game for tomorrow night, which we'll get to. Then the late game on Saturday, it was a big weekend for kickers. Gould, was it Robbie? Robbie Gould? Robbie Gould?
Yep.
Kicked a field goal to give the 49ers a 13-10 upset of the Packers. Packers have themselves to blame. Their special teams were awful.
A blocked punt.
A blocked punt that then they basically had the game, but then the blocked field goal is the thing that let the 49ers back in it. And so we have Nashville hot chicken and cheese plate eliminated on Saturday.
Gone.
So those two off the menu. Then rolling into yesterday, I thought that Tampa Bay was going to get run off the field.
Well, if the Rams did not fumble at the end of the first half, they would have.
27-3 was the halftime deficit that Brady and the Bucks wore down, but they rallied back to where it took a field goal, 30-yard field goal at the end of regulation for the Rams to win 30-27. That also was a good game.
Yeah, it was a great game. Brady made the comeback, but it also was a lot of choking by the Rams.
I did kind of hate to see Cuban sandwich and Columbia salad get eliminated from the menu right there.
Yeah, me too.
I probably didn't hate seeing Tom Brady get eliminated, though, did you?
I don't have hate for Tom Brady.
But it's nice to have somebody different.
I do kind of have love for the Rams because I'm a Liam Cohen fan, and Liam Cohen was coach at L.A. I like Aaron Donald pretty well.
He's really good.
I think California cuisine offers a lot on the Super Bowl menu, but love Cuban sandwiches and love that Columbia restaurant salad. So that was the only I kind of hate to see that go. And then the nightcap last night. Wow. We probably overused the term instant classic. You know, you'll see a really good game between two teams like, oh, that was an instant classic. Last night was an instant classic. Last night was one. The Chiefs and the Bills, it's a perfect example for why the overtime rules in the playoffs for the NFL must be changed.
They should be changed, not just in the playoffs. They should be changed in.
I think fans felt robbed that Buffalo didn't get yet another chance. They scored 25 points in less than 2 minutes were scored between those two teams.
Minute 57 or
Minute
something,
57, there were 25 points scored. And then you had your overtime, and Patrick Mahomes connects with Kelsey in the end zone and seals that win in overtime.
You want to know what the biggest shame was while watching that game, though?
What?
That I was sitting there thinking, as it was a great game, and I was like, it's really a shame that neither one of these teams is making the Super Bowl. It's like, it's such a shame. Such a shame.
Ooh, I guess
Such
you
a
can.
shame.
I guess you can talk that today.
Such a shame.
So the lineup for this weekend will be: you've got Montgomery in.
Skyline Chili.
You've got Montgomery in versus Kansas City Barbecue, and you have California Cuisine versus Rice-A-Roni or so. So you could almost do Japanese or Chinese, depending upon like what you could almost decide between the two West Coast teams on which you want. But there are a lot of options between those two. So Miss Buckles, based upon that lineup, who do you want to see advance this weekend? Do you want to see Montgomery Inn or Kansas City Barbecue?
Montgomery Inn.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right
And
answer.
Do you want California Cuisine or Rice-A-Roni or basically some type of Chinese
California cuisine.
You're going California
Yeah.
cuisine. All right.
So that'd be, you get the Rams connection there because Zach Taylor came from the Rams.
Yeah.
I just like
Sam, if the Rams and the Bengals end up in the Super Bowl, I'm going to have a really hard time.
Why?
I'm just going to tell you. I'm probably just going to have to be neutral and just say I hope for a good game.
Neutral.
I can't pull for anyone between those two.
I'll have you saying who day by the end of the week.
We got to get to a break. We'll come back. We got more on the way. Hang around. You're on In the Know.
Are you missing an opportunity for growth in your current role? Join CoreMark, and you'll be encouraged to explore new directions and challenged to increase your skills and impact. We believe the power by one is strengthened by all. Our positions are motivated by supportive management, competitive pay, and encouraging employees to meet their full potential. We offer night shift starting pay varying from $12 an hour to $17 an hour. Our order selector position responsibilities include, but aren't limited to, pulling orders, consolidating merchandise, and moving into picking containers. Full case positions operate an electric pallet jack in order to fulfill their orders accordingly to their delivery route and run list. If you are not trained on our equipment, training and a certification will be provided. Forklift driver position duties include stocking the warehouse in order to fulfill orders, assist in production flow, and supplying assistance to the production lines as needed. CoreMark offers a $2,000 sign-on bonus as well as competitive benefits. Apply now at careers.core-mark.com or call 270-259-9341, extension 5420.
Owensboro Health Twin Lakes Medical Center needs your help. The 2022 Community Health Needs Assessment for Grayson County is underway, and we want to know what health needs are most important to you. The more we know, the better we can care for our community. Go to owensborohealth.org/Twin Lakes Survey to participate in this anonymous survey, or stop by the hospital to pick up a copy. Owensboro Health Twin Lakes Medical Center. Help us build a healthier Grayson County.
All Kentucky driver licensing is moving from circuit clerk offices in every county
to regional offices.
And the new regional offices offer more licensing choices than ever before.
Get a driver's license valid for 4 years.
or 8 years.
Get a real ID
or a standard license.
Renew online or in person.
You can even visit any regional office you'd like. It's next level licensing.
Learn more at drive.ky.gov.
Music streaming continues to grow around the world. Research firm Media says subscriptions to music services are up 26%, and 524 million people subscribe to a service globally as of the second quarter of 2021. Spotify still leads the pack, owning nearly 30% of the market. Instagram says that the algorithm powering the way posts are ordered in users' feeds and in stories will now deprioritize content that may contain bullying, hate speech, or may incite violence. The rules already prohibit much of this type of content. The change, though, could affect borderline posts or content that hasn't yet reached the app's moderators. The IRS will require people who access and pay their taxes online to enroll in third-party facial recognition starting this summer. Even those who have already registered on irs.gov will have to provide a government ID, a copy of a utility bill, and a selfie to identity verification company ID.me. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Baby, I'll try to love again, but I know, the first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest. But when it comes to being lucky, he's cursed.
Today is Compliment Day. So compliment someone today. It is Peanut Butter Day today.
Oh, big fan.
And it is Talk Like a Grizzled Prospector Day today. That's something that Yukon Cornelius, I would think, would be very good at.
Like the guy from the prospector from Toy Story.
Yes, the prospector from Toy Story would be good. Pete.
Prospector Pete, I think that's right.
Pete,
I think that's
yeah.
right. Yep.
Kelsey Grammer.
That I don't know.
Kelsey Grammer was
Probably,
the voice of
yeah.
Prospector Pete, yeah. Then there seemed like there was a very good there is from Looney Tunes. Is Yosemite Sam a prospector?
I would say so.
I would think so too.
I had plenty of stuffed Yosemite Sams growing up.
Black Jack Chirac is not a prospector, but he's someone that tangled with Yosemite Sam from time to time. So yeah, people really like to associate you with Yosemite Sam.
That and green
Sam.
eggs and ham.
Sam, you are. Yeah, I got it. I can see that.
And then military posters, right?
Oh yeah, the I want you, the old yeah, I got it. So weeks away. It's all starting to be revealed. The Beijing Olympics, opening ceremony is the 3rd or something?
Yeah, but it might not be the 4th. I guess when it's on prime time, it might be the 4th.
But they'll show it kind of like they did for last year's Summer Olympics, where you can probably watch it live if you want to. But it puzzled me last week. Well, it made me wonder how difficult a decision it was for NBC to say, we're not sending any of our announcers.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sending Mike Tirico. We're not sending Lindsey Vaughn. We're not sending Johnny and what's-her-face, Tara. We're not sending them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be in our studio in Stamford, Connecticut, applying the commentary.
Most years, you want to go to Beijing or Stamford, Connecticut?
They're sending some production staff that have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But your talent, as you know them, they are not sending. And I have a feeling I may know the thing that pushed them over the edge. China has brought back its undignified backside COVID swabs 2 weeks before the Beijing Winter Olympics begin. The communist regime claims the virus test, which involves
a swab.
Yeah, a swab and some rotation.
Where the sun doesn't shine.
Right, yeah. And they're saying that it's more reliable than other tests.
Do you buy that?
I don't have to buy it.
Does it matter?
Sure that the health department here is very glad that they don't have to do that. Can you imagine going through the testing line up there?
Getting around people's mouths are hard enough.
Yeah.
At least 27 people underwent these swab tests south of the equator at an apartment building in Beijing where a 26-year-old
Just
woman
go to a random apartment?
Had caught Omicron, and this was the city's first recorded case of the variant.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant that to get the test, they had just had to go to a random apartment in Beijing.
No.
There are so many questions.
They reintroduced this methodology of testing at an apartment complex where they tested 27 individuals because one person had tested positive. Japan is calling on China to stop using the undignified test, as some passengers said it caused them some psychological distress.
You think?
China allegedly ordered American diplomats to undergo these tests, sparking a row with the State Department.
You know why Biden isn't going now.
So now we know. Well, we know why no Americans are going. But we're still sending the athletes.
Poor Shaun White. He's been an Olympian for how long?
It gives a new definition to curling. Like,
Oh, my.
Ooh.
Really?
11 cases have been confirmed in the capital city of Genoa. Organizers today said the already scaled back Olympics torch relay will be cordoned off from the public to stop the virus from spreading. You know, if California breaks bad in the next couple of weeks, the NFL is fully prepared to move the game from SoFi in Los Angeles to somewhere else. I think once they get beyond this weekend, they're probably locked in and can't move it. But I don't
think that there's a chance in France that they move that game.
I don't think they'll do it, but I do think that Californians, Gavin Newsom's of the world, and people in Los Angeles are well aware that if they were to make some bold move that the NFL said, you're basically going to ruin our party, then they could call an audible at the line of scrimmage. Are we too far gone now? Can we just have the Olympics somewhere else? Can we go back to Tokyo? Except they probably don't know how to make ice and snow. They know how to
just do them in Caneyville.
We have had plenty of ice and snow the last. I mean, more than normal.
Is there a ski slope in Caneyville that I'm not aware of?
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Do we have to do it at all?
Yes, we do have to do it.
Yeah, you say
Sure,
that.
we can do it.
We do have to.
We could probably put an ice rink out in the front of Caneyville School, right?
Sam, right there on South Main Street. I mean, running right in front of Caneyville Christian Church would be a great downhill course.
Okay.
I mean, you could even start out there by the Parkway and come down and cut across Southland Drive and then turn left and then come on to 185 and then down. You could go all the way to the railroad tracks on a downhill.
Yeah, we're going to need you to try that out.
I mean, you could use Lake Buckle some days, too.
You all don't know that I haven't already tried that. This headline stood out to me. A woman donated a kidney to her boyfriend, and then he brutally dumped her. When they first got together, Colleen said her boyfriend has been upfront about how he'd been struggling with chronic kidney disease since the age of 17. But while you naturally assume that he would be eternally grateful to his girlfriend for what she did for him, after she donated his kidney, he then he had the audacity to cheat on her 7 months later. She says a lot of arguments later, I eventually forgave him and gave him a second chance. But then he broke up with her. And then, of course, the world has said, you know, he has some nerve to do that.
Not that it's better, but 7 months at least is some time. Like, I thought you meant it was one of those things that he got out of the hospital and said, hey, see ya.
Right. I
mean, not that's better, but...
I also would tell you, just because even if they had been married, you would think that increases the chances, you know, that it wouldn't end that way, but it doesn't guarantee it. But I guess you just,
Something tells me there might have been some trouble in paradise beforehand.
There probably was. A mechanic totals a $3.4 million Ferrari after smashing it into a tree stump on a test drive. In the Netherlands, a mechanic totaled a rare $3.4 million Ferrari, smashing it. The bright red Enzo sports car, one of only 400 made, had 2 wheels ripped off and may be irreparable. Local news reports suggest a dealership mechanic was behind the wheel. He escaped unhurt but was taken to the hospital for a checkup. The weather conditions were damp and chilly, maybe 3 degrees in temperature. I think that's going to be Celsius. Just 400 of the mid-engine dream cars left the Ferrari production line between 2002 and 2004. They cost $609,000 new at launch, but because there are only 400, they have appreciated in value. And 03 recently sold by Sotheby's for $3.36 million.
Yeah,
Imagine being that mechanic.
Well, I'm pretty sure his insurance is not covering that.
I guess the dealership's insurance probably, but I mean, I guess it depends on whether it was sanctioned. You know, there have been times I've
Right.
taken mine to the dealership and said, will you please have one of your mechanics drive this so they can hear the noise that it's making or
true.
because you
Yeah.
try and describe it and they look at you like, you're really dumb making that noise. Or they're having so much fun just making you make that noise. Going, we can just get him to do whatever we want. So I sometimes like beg the mechanics, will you please go out and drive it under these conditions and do whatever? So I guess, was this a joyride or was this a test drive? And if it's a test drive, I would presume that the dealership is insured, but irreparable? If they're just going to throw it out, I'll take it. I know it's missing 2 wheels.
You
but-
got an empty parking spot now.
well, we got a bunch of empty parking spots. So I saw this headline last week and I didn't know any of the details, but it is proving my point on why no shoulders are bad. A snake expert from North Carolina, well, we're using that term liberally now. A snake expert from North Carolina removed 124 snakes in total from the Charles County home where David Riston was found deceased Wednesday. The inventory included a highly venomous black mamba, cobras, and rattlesnakes.
Where?
North Carolina.
Pomfret, Maryland is where it happened. The expert they had to call in from North Carolina because Jennifer Harris, who is a spokesperson for that county in Maryland, said they needed outside assistance. She said, we don't have that type of expertise at our own animal shelter. So that's why we contacted people who would know how to help remove the animals. How Riston died is officially still under investigation, but multiple sources say there was evidence of a snake bite. He had a state-issued permit to own some of his snakes, but not the venomous ones. Maryland law is clear. A person may not possess a long list of wild animals, which includes poisonous snakes. They say it's illegal because they can kill you.
You don't say.
Yes, they can. They're Satan's hand puppet. They're no shoulders. They're no good.
Sneaky snake, right?
Sneaky snake. Those laws are in place to keep people safe. The curator of the reptile house at the National Zoo said, in ways, is this desserts? Is this just desserts? Is this when you overplay your hand? Like you were permitted to have some of them, but you were having some of them that you weren't supposed to. Is this poetic justice or is it sad?
It's sad.
It is sad.
It is sad.
However, can we agree he has himself to blame?
Yes, I do agree with that.
All right. Sad, but you have yourself to blame. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. More on the way here on In the Know.
It's your man Buffalo Steel from the world famous Nappy Roots, and I got a message for you. Never underestimate you. Never underestimate you.
The Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship provides free tuition for Kentuckians who want to earn a degree in a high-demand career field. Go to workreadyky.com to learn more, or give them a call at 833-711-WRKS.
Fueled by the Kentucky Lottery.
Never underestimate you.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. When you call 911, first responders show up now. Let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Why? Why do we ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right? The answer to why defines who we are. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For my family.
For each other. Because all of this matters. We all have something worth protecting. So why do you see safe? Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Imagine if information came with a nutrition label. Then you'd know if what you're consuming has the right mix of verified facts, credible sources, and relevant context. But news and information doesn't come with a label. It's on us to develop a healthy news diet ourselves. Let's all resolve to strengthen our news literacy so we can make healthier choices about what news and information to consume, share, and act on. Test your news literacy fitness with our quiz at newslit.org. Exercise your right to be well-informed and get Newslit fit.
We don't want you on our team. You're too slow and fat.
This is weight bias.
Don't you care how you look?
Those with the serious disease called obesity face weight bias every day.
You're not the right fit for this job.
And blame themselves.
I wish I was different.
Weight bias hurts.
Let's stop weight bias.
Be part of the solution.
Go to stopweightbias.com, a public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Scattered showers are possible this afternoon as we deal with gusty southwesterly winds. Occasional gusts near 30 miles per hour are certainly possible as we warm into the 40s. We'll see that rain moving out of here as we head into the evening. Some flurries and some drizzle may linger overnight. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
2, 3, 4. Well, things have been a little complicated. While the tea life has got me down.
Did you know hot water freezes faster than cold water?
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Kind of wonder why that is. I'm sure there's some scientific answer on that.
Well, I think it's kind of that thing. Have you seen where you'll boil a pot of water on a cold day and go out and throw it out and it like turns to vapor immediately? You seen those videos?
Yeah. Yeah. I've not ever done that, but I've seen
no,
that.
I've never done it as either, but I've seen the videos.
Heard that happen. We might. Well, let me tell you about Spider-Man first. Spider-Man No Way Home is now the 6th highest grossing movie of all time. Is that because there are no other options?
Maybe.
I've heard it's really good.
The 27th Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Movie has proven to be a massive box office success, which reports in Variety detailing that the film has now grossed more than $1.69 billion globally. That's not any adjustment for inflation or comparison. And as a result, it's become the 6th highest grossing movie of all time. So, all right, congratulations. First came out in November, and but there's not been really much to create, to capture market share and eyeballs. And so I think a lot of people they've watched it and then they go home and they pay to watch it again, on demand. I think it's on demand. So anyway, learning a little bit more about the Adele situation with the delay of her residency in Las Vegas. And there is some speculation that some tension between the building, so that being the Coliseum, Caesars. I don't know who operates the building. I know it's at Caesar's Palace.
Is it not Caesar?
It's well, see, it's not the original Caesar that lived there. It's Caesar's nephew.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know.
He had outsourced that to one of his sisters that he liked a lot. He gave it to his nephew.
Is his name Ranch?
Right,
But Caesar did stay there.
Stop laughing.
Caesar did stay there.
Name not Ranch.
How many times have you seen The Hangover?
What? A few times.
Gosh, I don't know how many times. I can't count.
I wasn't asking you.
I've seen it a few times. Yeah.
I know. So, it sounds like maybe there's a disagreement because Adele blamed delivery delays and her team coming down with COVID as the reasons for delaying. But the managers of the venue, Caesar's Palace, attempted to make the Perfectionist perform Skyfall with a 60-member choir while she was looking to keep the performance low-key and all about the voice. If you listen to the version of Skyfall that is on the James Bond soundtrack, and if you listen to the version that won the Oscar for Best Song from a Motion Picture, it has a big choir in it. And so I think that's the expectation when you hear it. When she did her special at the Observatory in Los Angeles, she had not a 60-person choir, but she did have backup vocalists when she performed this song. So is it about the 60-member choir? Or think of it this way. If you have to keep 60 extra people on retainer and you have to pay them at least scale wages for 3 shows every weekend, so you're basically... You've got to pay people to be in this choir, but you have to pay them in 3 days to basically, it adds production cost to the...
And then plus probably a day for rehearsal. And
so it just makes you wonder, is this about her wanting to let her voice shine, or do they not want to pay 60 other people to be part of the production crew? I don't know that I would blame her if that was the reason. Here's what I'll tell you. If she wants to pay me, if she'll pay my expenses to get back and forth, I'll sing in her choir for free.
You'd probably do it once for free anyways.
Oh, he'd do it more than once.
I'd probably get myself there and back at least once in order to do it. So I'm just saying. It was a big weekend for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I follow Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Twitter, and I've come to like him a lot.
Well, his wife is a former UK cheerleader. Isn't that what it is? There's a UK connection. I believe that's right.
Yeah, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is also going to play a role in the Kentucky Broadcasters Association Fall Convention this year down in Owensboro. And so that's one of the reasons that I've had to become more...
he seems very genuine.
He is. He is very genuine, and he seemed kind of like a hot shot, when he was driving that 8 car and he wears baseball cap backward and all that stuff. But he had really grown as an individual, or I guess matured, as you will, as at the same time I hope that I would have. And I'm really impressed with him. So congratulations on getting in. One of the things, if you go back and listen to his speech, his acceptance speech into the hall, one of the things that he kept saying a lot was the word "we." He would say he didn't take any personal credit for what he was able to do. He just said, we were able to have a lot of success and we focused on this and we. And it's just an acknowledgement that, especially in that sport, the driver gets a lot of credit, but there are countless other people who are responsible for getting you to the Hall of Fame. Got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Generation. Many of these young people have earned that label by acting like they shouldn't have to struggle in their life or be inconvenienced. The sad part is, most have been raised to behave that way. If you doubt that, consider the conversation I had with the CEO of a Fortune 100 company who told me that most of the young adults he hires right out of college expect someone to cater to their every whim. In fact, most are so immature, his company started a program for new hires that's like a boot camp for adulthood. These young people aren't taught sophisticated business principles. They're taught the basics of adult responsibility, lessons they should have learned at home with their parents. It's uncomfortable to watch children struggle with disappointment, the pain of waiting, or the discipline of hard work. But sheltering them from those tough realities now sets them up for failure later. Adversity is one of life's greatest teachers. It helps children develop confidence and the strength to persevere when life doesn't give them what they want when they want it. Remember, Mom and Dad, your job isn't to raise children, it's to raise adults. Adults with the character and confidence to face life's challenges head on. Instead of rescuing your children from adversity, encourage them through it. To help your children thrive, go to FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Let me ask you, what does your perfect wedding day look like? I'll bet you've imagined it over and over again. The crisp spring air, the fresh grass giving way beneath you as you walk towards your future, surrounded by the people you love the most. So what's in the way of you believing it's possible for you to have it? Are you believing the lie that you are meant to be alone? Or maybe you don't know what a Christian romance should look like or where to find it. Hi, I'm Jackie Dorman, and I invite you to join me in my free Married in 12 Months challenge, where you will discover your heart's desire of a loving marriage. In this challenge, I'll teach you why now's your time to find love, what are the lies that are holding you back, why God wants you married, the biblical law of attraction, and the tools to become a bride. Don't wait any longer. Just sign up for my free Married in 12 Months 5-day challenge at lovestories.com, and you can start your journey to find that lasting, loving relationship now. Join me at lovestories.com.
I'm a police officer. My 8-year-old always asks me, "Dad, did you help people today?" And most days, I do help people. But too often, I can't help people who make poor decisions, like texting and driving, or not bothering to wear a seatbelt. Be safe, Kentucky. Buckle up and put the phone down.
Paid with funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
He said, I want to see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather.
In Beast Point to ponder for today. Sam, I know you're not there yet because it's still football season for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, now and I got Evan McPherson up on the TV. When do I get my Bengals connection up in here right now?
I understand that it is definitely still football season for you, but my question is, are we going to have a Major League Baseball season?
Yes.
We are going to have one? Is it going to start on time?
No.
Okay. The reason that I was prompted with that is because pitchers and catchers supposed to report in, a week and a half, 2 weeks? Early February?
That's not happening.
But I saw the news this week that they're going to let some robots be umpires in AAA this season, and some of the spring training games, Grapefruit League, Cactus League, are going to use robotic umpires. Is this going to work?
What it is, at least from what I understand, is it's a regular umpire that has an earpiece. And he just calls what the earpiece tells him.
And he can't overrule the earpiece?
He's not supposed to.
So they get fed the balls and strikes, but
Correct.
as far as the out safe calls are still
Correct.
the human?
Correct. Correct. From what I understand. That's kind of the but then again, you look, these umpires.
Strike.
I don't know if you've seen the umpire scorecard Twitter account.
No.
There's a Twitter account that after every game they go through and they give the umpires a grade.
Yes.
Off of the percentage of strikes they get right. And these umpires average 95, 96%.
So
which
is this
pretty
going
hard.
to make baseball more exciting?
No.
You won't even know the difference.
No.
All right, so it's still boring.
Since you don't know.
Okay.
You won't know the difference.
Ball.
Yeah, okay.
Pass
Yeah.
ball.
Mm-hmm.
No interest.
Just a bit outside.
That's your...
That's a robot, Bob
Uecker.
Uecker. Yes,
The
robotic Bob Uecker. That's what we want. Just a bit outside. The Bachelor. The Bachelor is on ABC tonight. On ABC, The Promised Land. The CW has March, and on HBO, series premiere of something called The Gilded Age, starring Christine Baranski.
Was wondering, and we can talk about this after, but the Ghosts show, is that good?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is? Because I keep
So good.
watching as much football as I did. I kept seeing preview after preview after preview after preview of it, and I
it's good.
hadn't talked to you about it.
I just I love the way they tie the decades in history
smart.
together.
Yeah.
So
It's very smart.
Each era in history is represented by a ghost, and so but to see them try and cohabitate and then the references, so one will say something and the others will look around like, what's that mean?
So the owners of are they millennials or?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably millennials.
So millennials are,
It's
interacting with the ghosts.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1989, confessed serial killer Ted Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. In 1848, James W. Marshall discovered a gold nugget at Sutter's Mill in North Carolina, a discovery that led to the gold rush of 1849 and why we have the San Francisco 49ers. Winston Churchill died this date in 1965 in London at age 90.
Powering through.
Hi. Ray Stevens is 83 today. Neil Diamond is 81 today.
Oh, wow.
I would love to hear The World Deserves a collaboration between Ray Stevens and Neil Diamond.
Are you allowed to like Neil Diamond?
Yes, I am.
Can you listen to Sweet Caroline?
I've asked recently. No, I don't like Sweet Caroline because that's been cabbaged by Boston.
Mm-hmm. That's what I felt like you weren't allowed to like that.
Coming to America. Yeah, I can do Neil Diamond. But don't you think Ray Stevens and Neil Diamond should do a duet together before they hang up their careers? I think that would be wonderful.
Maybe they should have done that 25 years ago.
I think it's more viable and more believable now.
Are there going to be like animals involved?
Love on the rocks. They call him the Streak. Look at that. Look at that. Love on the rocks. Woo! Too late. That would be a wonderful mashup. Aaron Neville is 81 today. Yakov Smirnoff is 71. Mary Lou Retton is 54. Ed Helms is 48. Speaking of The Hangover.
Mm-hmm. Andy from The Office, too. That's all I think of him.
Nard Dog. Tatiana Ali is 43 today, and Misha Barton is 36. Gone but not forgotten. Ernest Borgnine in 1917. Oral Roberts in 1918. John Belushi, born this date in 1949.
Wow.
Chart toppers. We will go to... Who is this? Lou Monte.
Well, I'll be down to get you with the pushcart, honey. You'd better be ready about 8:30. Now, baby, don't be late. I want to be there when the
Darktown
band starts
Strutters Ball.
playing. Remember when we get there, baby, 2 steps, we're going to have a ball.
There have been
We're gonna
worse
dance
songs played on the
both
show.
our shoes
There
when
have.
they play those Jelly Roll Blues.
The Jelly Roll Blues.
Yeah.
I don't know what was happening.
That's my favorite Lou Monte song.
Can you name another?
If I could turn the record over, I'd look at the backside.
Here we go.
The Exciters, number 1 in 63 with Tell Him. Tell him, tell him, tell him, let's meet him.
I forgot to mention on TV tonight, too, you have Lady Cougar basketball at LaRue County, 6:30 Central.
Over to the land of Lincoln, huh?
Again. We've been there a lot recently. Did you have anything to say to Lincoln when we drive by?
Lincoln, Lincoln, I've been thinking. You can make up the rest of it if you want. 1972, Al Green, number 1, Let's Stay Together. Let's go to 1981.
All the time.
See, there you go.
There's your birthday
On
boy.
his birthday. Doesn't he deserve to do a duet with Ray Stevens?
What if it's Sweet Caroline?
No, it needs to be Mississippi Squirrel Revival.
Yes, please.
It needs to be a Ray
Right.
Stevens song. It doesn't need to be a Neil Diamond song. Or it could be a mashup, but it can't be Sweet Caroline.
Yesterday's gone.
How about Cracklin' Rosie and the Mississippi Squirrel Revival?
Cracklin' Squirrel Revival?
Something like that. 1990. Michael Bolton, number 1. Proving balding guys can still rock a strong hair game.
That is some hair right there.
I did not see that coming.
He had an 8 head, and then he had hair down to his waist.
Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now.
99. Brittany.
She's free now, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Theoretically. Yes, I don't guess she's doing her Vegas residency any longer. Alicia Keys, number 1 in 08 with No One. Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Magic, number 1. 5 years ago today. It's already been 5 years since that song was number 1. All right, MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. The joy that isn't shared dies young. The joy that isn't shared dies young. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin